Thank you. So we take a look at the field, Chris Volby. Two pretty stout competitors on the front row. Kyle Crump, no stranger to fans here at Owosso Speedway, cut his teeth, started his career right here at Owosso. Alongside Jason D's Trailer Sales Rookie of the Year points leader Zach Cook. And to think they were 16th and 15th in qualifying respectively.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for Zach Cook to start up towards the front of the field. And he's still getting his feet wet as far as the touring deal goes. So we'll see how he can do starting at the front of the field. But a lot of surprises that are qualified pretty deep that kind of got their rear end saved by that deep inversion pull. I mean, you got Justin Clardy up there in the first 3 rows, Phil Bozell inside of row 2. There's a lot of really big names that are starting towards the front that with an invert of a 16 don't typically have any business starting that close to the front.
Yeah, Phil Bozell starting inside of row number 2. That is dangerous for these Reveal the Hammer Outlaw Super Late Model Series teams. But to your point, Justin Clardy, Scott Hans, Chad Finley within the first 4 rows. And again, remember the inversion, Blake Childers drew the worst inversion possible, a 16. Second race in a row that the All-Star Performance Fast Qualifier had drawn the biggest invert.
And you want to hear about the camaraderie in motorsports, Matt. We saw during qualifying earlier today, the 7 of Justin Clardy had some issues getting the car fired off, had to get a push, and was able to get a qualifying time in, broke a transmission. But Blake Childers and that Wheeler Racing number 10 team loaned him a transmission, and that's what's in the 7 car right now. So a great show of sportsmanship from that 10 team. I think there's a couple other cars out there that have some important pieces that were loaned out from that team. So
what makes that even more significant is Blake Childers is 12 points behind Justin Clardy for 3rd in the point standings.
All right, we got the flags collected, so we're gonna send them loose.
27 cars. Go ahead, Roger.
I was gonna say, and guys, we're gonna try something new with the here tonight. I'm gonna try to roam around the pit area if there's any up to bring them to you.
Appreciate it, Roger Williams, the co-voice of Owosso Speedway. We're gonna do a little 3-man here, Chris Folby. So we get set to go. Kyle Crump, Zach Cook, your front row. Phil Bozell, Doug True, inside of row number 2, inside and outside of row number 2. 3 West Michigan drivers in those first 4 spots, Chris.
Well, the West Side's kind of been dominant in Outlaw Super Late Model racing the last couple of years, so not a huge shock to see them up there.
But Kyle Crump, that Big Rigs Incorporated Hanley Enterprises, number 16, starting on the pole. We alluded to his template late model accolades.
Well, race fans, give the drivers a wave here. They're in what is called the missing man formation, serving multiple purposes here, those that are missing abroad.
The missing man formation is not only for those missing in action, this is also in memory of former promoter Jane Sederington. So we're gonna have you stand up. We want you to get up. Everybody get up. Come on, get up, get up. This is in memory of Jane Sederington, former promoter here at Owosso Speedway, and all those missing in action. We want you to stay standing up, because this time by is the wave lap. Now we want you to stay standing up. We want you to get up. We want you to stay standing up. Come on, get up, get up, get up, get up. Race number 5, the 2024 racing season for the Reveal the Hammer Outlaw Super Late Model Series. This is the Camp Owosso 100. This is Michigan Kenworth, the Owosso 500 Series race number 3. It's hammer time! All the pre-race ceremonies are complete. All the pomp and circumstances over, Chris Phobie. It's time to go racing. 100 laps. $10,000 the winner. We are moments away. Kyle Crump, Zach Cook, your front row. Phil Bozell, Doug True, row number 2. Chase Wilson, Justin Clardy, row number 3. Scott Hans, Chad Finley, row number 4. A pair of 14, Steve Needles, Mark Shook in row number 5. And oh, by the way, the 6 fastest qualifiers start behind them.
It's going to be a deep fight for those that were quickest earlier today. But they got a long ways to go. 100 laps in store here in the Camp Owosso 100 as the field gets the 1 to go signal from chief starter Nate Rowe, and our honorary starter Todd Sederington takes his post.
Owosso Speedway pace car pulls in the infield. It's in the hands of Kyle Crump and Zach Cook to lead them out of turns 3 and 4. Chief starter Todd Sederington, the green flag in hand, and we are racing. Oh, and Todd lost his hat. Thank you so much, Todd Sederington, as Kyle Crump, the lead lap number 1, got a great start ahead of Zach Cook. Crump, the lead lap 1.
Yeah, Crump had the better track position when it came to getting that one started. And now Justin Clardy, the man on the move here in the early runnings. He's already to the outside of Phil Bozell. And putting Bozell behind him this early on could play huge dividends for the 7 car as we get deeper into this.
And how about Doug True getting by Phil Bozell on that start? He's going to challenge Zach Cook for that 2nd position. But here comes Justin Clardy on the outside. Look at Scott Hansen at 72, working his way to the high side.
Yeah, Scott Hans not afraid at all to take it to the outside here in the early laps, trying to work around the 14 of Steve Needles. Speaking of 14s, it looks like Mark Shook has lost quite a bit of ground there off the start.
Chase Wilson trying to keep Steve Needles at bay. That black number 77 is running into 6th spot, but just in front of them, Justin Clardy to the high side of Doug True. Both of them trying to get around Zach Cook. Cook hanging out a second for now, True to the inside.
Oh, are they going to split the difference? They think about taking it 3 wide down the back straightaway. Clardy falls back in line. That leaves the door open for Phil Bozell in the number 8 to get to the inside of Clardy.
But Doug True makes the pass, put the Dowagiac Michigan driver in a second. Phil Bozell to the inside of Zach Cook. That's for the 3rd spot. Now put Bozell in the 3rd. Clardy's going to follow suit. Here comes Steve Needles in the 14.
And from 4th on back right now, Matt, it is a dogfight for that position. Clardy gets past Cook to move up into the spot, but Chase Wilson sees the door open. He dives to the inside of Cook.
A couple of Jason D's trailer sales, Rookie of the Year title contenders. Chase Wilson gets by Zach Cook, so does Clardy, so does Needles. As Cook falling back like a rock, he's down to 7th, and now he's got to deal with Chad Finley.
Clardy struggling up in the upper groove right now, Matt, as well. He's given up spots to Wilson and Needles just in the last 2 laps.
How about Chase Wilson, that flawless rookie number 77? He is up to the 4th spot, but now he's going to have to deal with Steve Needles, who looks to complete the pass on Justin Clardy.
Well, in the case of Chase Wilson, momentum does play a role. You said, Matt, he's undefeated at his home track this season, venturing down here to Owosso. And he looks to be pretty confident in that number 77.
But he's got the world behind him with Steve Needles in the 14, Justin Clardy in the 7, Chad Finley, Adam Terry, David McMahon, the list goes on. Now Needles to the inside of Chase Wilson. That's for 4th spot. Needles won his 3rd Kalamazoo Clash a weekend ago. He's up to 4th.
Well, I don't know if this is the typical Phil Bozell process being involved or not, but that 8 car not quite overpowering the 93 at Doug True like I expected.
Doug True doing a whale of a job. His first ever appearance here at Owosso Speedway in an Outlaw Super late model. The previous time he was here was in a modified, 2 seasons ago. Lost the motor in practice. Prior to that, you got to go all the way back to 2007 in an ASA late model series Northern Division race was the last time Doug True turned any competitive laps here.
Well, the 0 Lenny Roberts, first car to fall a lap down. He drops behind your leader.
15 laps completed, 85 laps to go. Kyle Crump, your leader. Doug True 2nd, Phil Bozell 3rd, Steve Needles 4th. Chase Wilson in 5th, and you got Chad Finley in 6th, Justin Clardy 7th, Adam Terry 8th, David McManus 9th, Scott Hance shoveled back to 10th.
Yeah, Clardy so far doing a pretty good job stopping the bleeding. He's found a nice little niche in behind the one to Chad Finley. But maybe not too far behind is that 4-car of Adam Terry, who had maybe his best qualifying performance ever at Owosso here earlier today.
And he was the Kalamazoo Clash pole award winner last weekend at Kalamazoo Speedway. A lap ago, Lenny Roberts called it a night in the Zero Machine as Kyle Crump continues to show the way. The blue number 16 making his way into turns 1 and 2. Doug True's got the world behind him. Two of the very best, Phil Moselle and Steve Needles.
Yeah, Moselle and Needles being that close to the front of the field this early on in the race, I would think would spell disaster for the way the rest of the race is going to go, but Doug True is doing nothing but impressing here in the early going.
Doug True's a crafty veteran out of Dowagiac, Michigan, former 2-time track champion at M40 Speedway. Finished 4th in the points in the National ASA Late Model Series division back in 2004. He knows how to tour race. He knows how to run these long distance races, and he's put some real estate between himself and Phil Moselle.
Yeah, that's I want to say it's unexpected, but as you mentioned, Doug True does have a history with these more longer distance races, and it is a different style of racing than what you see in your normal 30, 40 lap Saturday night features.
Kyle Crump approaching the back of the lead pack cars. Just put Doug in. We got trouble. Caution flag out. And Scotty Lamp has turned it around in between 1 and 2. Brings out our first caution flag of the evening. And that is Scotty Lamp in the number 2 machine. The 20-year-old from Davidson, Michigan, the State Building Company Seneca Performance machine. Brings out our first caution flag of the evening. "22 laps completed. Still 78 laps to go. It's been all Kyle Crump so far, Chris Philby, and that Big Rigs Incorporated number 16 for Bobby Blount.
Yeah, the Bobby Blount team is another one that's probably owed a feature here at the Owosso Speedway. They have found the most creative ways to give away races here. So with 78 laps to go, Kyle Crump looks to be in a nice position where he could potentially cruise. But gosh, there are so many big names that are just on their way to the front right now.
Here's a stat for you, Chris. The 16 or the number 5 Bobby Blount Motorsports entries in the brief 3-year history of the Reveal the Hammer series, now 3.5 years, has never gone to victory lane in the Reveal the Hammer Outlaw Super Late Model Series race.
They've led a whole lot of laps, though.
And that does come with an asterisk, though. Caden Lapsevich crossed the start-finish line first at Birch Run Speedway back in 2022. Unfortunately DQ'd in post-race tech. So, but still, hasn't counted. Could that change here tonight with Kyle Crump, your race leader? And we watched Kyle Crump from the very beginning. He started his career right here at Owosso Speedway. 2010 Sport Compact champion. One of the very few drivers I can count on one hand and have fingers left over how many drivers who started their career in a compact, a 4-cylinder, whatever the case may be, and that success transferred to a rear-wheel drive car.
Yeah, and keep in mind, he went straight from a front-wheel drive into a template pro late model. There was no stopover in anywhere in the middle. He went straight from a Dodge Neon to a freaking crate late model.
Yeah. But it's very hard to do. I mean, like I said, again, I have a hand. I have many fingers left over. How many drivers have made that transition successful?
And keep in mind, he's a driver that's racing in rides that he's earned. Kyle Crump isn't the guy that just brings a ton of funding behind him.
Not at all.
He's the furthest thing from a pay driver. But I mean, look at the teams that he's driven for.
Yep.
These are the top late model teams that have rides available.
Hey guys, I'm back here in the pit area. Mark Shook had just left the racing surface right prior to that in turns 1 and 2. Put in the pits. Apparently that Triple B fabrication machine running a bit too hot, and he's done for the night.
Oh, tough break. The bad luck season continues. The defending Reveal the Hammer Series champion Kyle Crump took the inside in the restart. It is not the choose option with the Reveal the Hammer Series, as Crump Out of turn 4, green flag, we're back underway. Doug True now with the opportunity, so does Phil Moselle and Steve Needles. Here comes Chad Finley around the high side of Chase Wilson, but Wilson standing his ground with a battle for second, Moselle and True.
And Moselle had the better track position, but Doug True not rolling over quite yet. In fact, Doug True might get a better run on the outside here, just barely could not clear the A to Moselle as they headed off to turn 3.
Doug True making that high lane work in the 93 machine. We've said it more than once, Chris Foby. That second groove is starting to come in for the Outlaw Super Late Models. Keep in mind, this is a fresh repave prior to the 2023 season. We knew that second groove was eventually going to come in, and it was by the Outlaw Super Late Models.
Well, it helps they have those 10-inch tires, so it's a little wider tread than what our weekly divisions run. So it's a little more forgiving when it comes to going out on the high side like that.
And Steve Needles saw Doug True do it, he'll try it out. Chad Finley is right there as well in the number 1 machine. Chase Wilson shoveled back to 6th. David McManus to 8th spot in the 17. He started 12th as he's got Justin Clardy in front of him.
Needles still trying the outside around the A to Moselle. Can't quite get around them, but they are just about dead even as they come off of turn 4.
Side by side for that final podium position in 3rd. 28 laps completed, 72 laps to go. Needles on the high side, Phil Moselle on the inside. They're throwing haymakers at each other coming out of 3 and 4.
I think Needles might have it here. He does. He's clear of the A to Moselle heading off into the next turn.
Well, you saw Doug True use the outside on Moselle. Steve Needles decided to try it. Does Chad Finley think about it now in the 1 car?
Well, look even a little bit deeper back in the field. Blake Childers is trying to get around the 12 of Brian Bergaker and does get past the 12 of Bergaker, also using that outside groove.
Childers started 16th. Your All-Star Performance Fast qualifier now 10th. Shoveling Bergaker to 11th spot. Now Steve Needles back up in front. That red number 93 trying to hold off that white number 14 of Steve Needles. They go into turns 1, 3, and 4.
Boy, I thought Needles was going to really charge it in there, but realizes what lap we're on still early in this race. Does not want to maybe show the elbows here a little bit early. So the 14 of Needles falls back in line.
Just behind Needles, a potential battle for 4th about to brew. Phil Moselle in the A machine. In the 4th spot, Chad Finley took a peek at the inside, the 1 car. Thinks better of it. Finley finishing 5th last night at Tri-City Motor Speedway in their car UMP Late Model Division.
Phil Moselle really, at this point in the race, looks like he's on the back foot, which is not something that we're used to seeing. He had a poor performance in qualifying. Figured he was going to shake it off with his good starting spot in the race, but Phil Moselle really hasn't gotten out of the blocks yet in this one.
This time by 35 laps completed, 65 laps to go. You're not missing a thing out front. Kyle Crump, your leader. Battle for second. Well, it's over. Steve Needles now in the 2nd spot. Uses the inside to get by Doug True. Now Needles will set his sights on Kyle Crump.
And how fitting is it the scoreboard changed right as Kyle Crump went off in view of it. So he's got to know now, okay, the game is stepping up. We have Steve Needles right behind us. Now it's go time.
Indeed, as Crump with a 1.2 second lead over Steve Needles. And Doug True off the pace of the 93 car. Tough break for the Dowagiac, Michigan driver. He'll call tonight. What an impressive run, though, by True in those first 36 laps.
Yeah, very impressive run until the run stopped.
Lenny Roberts came back in the racetrack, and he promptly put a lap down by Kyle Crump. In the number 0, in the 16 machine, Steve Needles in 2nd. Needles already gained 0.3 of a second on Kyle Crump.
And for those of you wondering why Lenny Roberts would return to the race 7 laps down, they have what is called a victory, the Victory Circle program?
The Reveal the Hammer Outlaws Victory Circle Points Fund. Top 12 drivers in the point standings after each and every race get a portion of that points fund, and Lenny Roberts is only 60 points back. He's going to pass Tyler Roehrig for 13th in the standings. His next sight is on Max Fair, who is not here tonight, so Roberts a great opportunity for him to get in that coveted top 12 and get some points fund money.
And just running out on the track, running these laps, he's going to go from 26th to 25th ahead of Doug True, who pulled off just here in the next 2 laps.
And so did Jimmy O. Smith, and so did Scotty Lamp just now. So Lenny Roberts gaining some valuable points, more importantly, some extra cash in his pocket, going to New Paris Speedway on August 2nd. Kyle Crump, your leader. Steve Needles second as they negotiate through traffic. As Connor Zabosian just went a lap down. And there goes Lenny Roberts in a zero machine. Roberts only needed a couple more laps to get by Doug True and Jimmy O. Smith.
Yeah, unfortunately, it appears the equipment was not quite there for it. So he heads pit side.
But nevertheless, Roberts in very good shape to get to that coveted top 12, depending on what Lane Head does. Because Lane Head just behind Roberts in the points. And Brian Bergager calls it a night in the number 12 machine. Tough break for the Middleville, Michigan driver. Bergager was 6th in the points coming into the night.
Yeah, that was a very likely top contender at the late stages of this one that is calling it a night early.
Cal Crump, your leader. Steve Needles second. Phil Bozell third. Chad Finley now fourth. And go all the way back to Chase Wilson in fifth. Justin Clardy sixth. Stephen McManus seventh. Blake Childers up to 8th from 16. Scott Hance ninth. Bow for 10th between Adam Terry and Dan Leake.
Yeah, Dan Leake having a very quiet race so far.
Dan Leake's having to be in any race at this point.
That is a very fair point. He's not been able to start a single Outlaw race here at Owosso this season. Finally made it to the track, which is a significant victory for that team.
This time by, we're going to be halfway home. 50 laps completed, 50 laps to go. Kyle Crump has led all 50 laps. Steve Needles in second, Phil Bozell third, Chad Finley fourth. Chase Wilson 5th, Justin Clardy 6th, David McManus 7th, Blake Childers 8th, Scott Hance 9th, Adam Terry 10th.
We just lost the P51 to Scott Pemberton as he exited the track over in turn number 2.
Back more through the field, Dan Leake is 11th, Stephen Ullman 12th, Josh Ware 13th, Buddy Gray 14th, Connie Zabosian calls it a night. Zach Cook started outside the pole, he's falling all the way back to 15th. Harold Fair Jr. 16th.
Lane Head is 17th.
Thank you. I had drew a blank. Lane Head is 17th. And that is your last car in the lead lap. I was drawing a blank. I knew it was Buddy Head.
I saw your hands moving. I just wasn't figuring out what. I'm not good at charades.
17 cars on the lead lap. Justin Holloway, first car 1 lap down in 18. Doug Rodenheiser about to go 2 laps down. But Kyle Crump continues to show the way to 16. Steve Needles is picking off his lead little by little. Phil Bozell's gotten away from Chad Finley. Bozell solidly in third. And with Adam Terry all the way back to 10th, this could really shake up the points.
Well, that was a very smart move by the 16 of Kyle Crump, Matt. He made sure to pass the 76 of Doug Rodenheisler to the point where when Needles would catch the 76, Needles would catch him in the middle of the corner. It took Needles an entire lap to get past the 76 based on when the 16 put him another lap down and when the 14 caught him.
Josh Ware calls it a night in the 57 machine. And that goes back to Touring Series experience. Dan Leake calls it a night in the 55. Cars dropping like flies. But to that point, Kyle Crump, like we talked about with Doug True, he's got a lot of Touring Series experience, those longer distance races. He knows how to, shall we say, manipulate the field a little bit.
Exactly. It's not so much about when you catch a lap car as much as when you pass a lap car, especially when you have competition the level of Steve Needles running right behind you.
As Crump about to put a lap on Lane Head, the 46 machine. Lane Head now a golden opportunity to move into that coveted top 12 and get in that winner's circle program, as he has got some position between himself and Lenny Roberts. Crump putting Head and Harold Fair Jr. a lap down. Now Harold Fair Jr. calls it a night. Tough break for Fair in his debut in that new Triple B chassis.
Well, Matt, you think about the last 3 weeks in Outlaw Super Late Model racing. You had Berlin, you had Kalamazoo, and you have Owosso here tonight. 3 big races back to back to back. the attrition rate showed our car counts were down a little bit from what we saw in the first 2 races, and now you're seeing that reflected even more as some of the top contenders that have ran all those races very hard are dropping like flies.
Quietly, ever so quietly, all-star performance fast qualifier Blake Childers, he's in the top 5. He's in 5th, just went around Chase Wilson. He could really use a caution right now. As Kyle Crump's got a half track, and he got it. A 2 pair of 17s get together. Justin Holloway and David McManus touch and spin in the backstretch on lap 64.
Gacker.
64 laps completed, 36 laps to go. A pair of 17s. The white with orange number 17 of Justin Holloway, along with the Wheeler Trucking number 17 of David McManus. And to your point, we're talking about Lenny Roberts, who's back on the racetrack. Going to gain those valuable spots.
Also, I think Roger Williams had something for us on the pit side.
Well, I was trying to get Brian Bergacker, but I was just out of range. He's out of this one. The brakes went away on that. We also had Jimmy Smith lost brakes. Scotty Lamp out because of poor handling car. We have a lot of things going on. I'm going to see what's going on with Air Jr. here.
In the world of Outlaw Super Late Models, the Owosso 500 race series with the Reveal the Hammer series thrives. Quality shows all made possible by Michigan Kenworth. Michigan Kenworth, with 6 locations across the state, is the ultimate destination for medium and heavy-duty commercial trucks. Under the trusted Kenworth brand, they dominate the Michigan territory. The CSM Truck Network, part of Michigan Kenworth, is the lone statewide commercial truck dealer group offering a convenient one-stop, full-service experience. Michigan Kenworth's phenomenal growth is no coincidence. They prioritize customers with fair dealings and a customer-centric approach, setting them apart. Backed by CSM companies, Michigan Kenworth provides exceptional product support and end-to-end solutions covering rentals, leasing, financing, parts, and service support. With 45-plus industry years, Michigan Kenworth is a top North American Kenworth dealer. 3-time Kenworth Award recipient. Those are awards earned and not just given. From Class 5 to Class 8 trucks, Michigan Kenworth delivers quality, performance, and a smooth ride. They're the world's best for a reason. Discover other convenient locations, including Wisconsin Kenworth, Saarland Kenworth, French Ellison Truck Center, and 3 Florida locations. Michigan Kenworth, where quality meets customer satisfaction, experience excellence in every mile you drive.
Yep, seems to be the main culprits, brakes and overheating. Good job down there, Roger. As Kyle Crump and Steve Needles, your front row will lead the field in the turns 3 and 4. Chief starter out of Davison, Michigan, Mr. Adam Rowe has the green flag in hand, and we're back underway with the Camp Owosso 100.
That's Nate Rowe. Adam's at Dillon Racing right now.
Did I say Adam?
You sure
All
did.
Right. Well, we were thinking of Adam. How about that?
That works.
I'll get it right next time.
Well, it played out in one of the 2 ways I expected. The 16 got an amazing restart, got in front of the 14 of Needles, but the one of Chad Finley with a big moment there.
Yeah, Phil Bozell sneaks back on the inside in the Brave Machine. Both of them are going to figure something out in a hurry. Here comes All-Star Performance Fast qualifier Blake Childers.
And you got to believe Blake Childers right now is hoping beyond all hope that those 2 can sort it out real quick.
Or he's going to help him sort it out.
Yeah.
Finn Childers to the inside of Finley for 4th. And here comes Justin Clardy, the number 7.
I was just about to mention that, Matt. A late race resurgence from Clardy. He dropped back in the early stages, and now he's methodically picking his way back up through the field.
How about the run by Buddy Gray, the 24 machine, started 22nd. He's now in the top 10 for the first time.
Yeah, he had to scramble with mechanical issues like you mentioned, Matt.
A fuel pump issue on that Van Kohler construction machine.
Yeah, it was a last-minute effort even to get the car on the track to qualify. He had to run the 50-lap modified race, scramble again to get that car ready, and made it out to the grid, and now he's finally able to just relax and race.
And why he had to scramble so much, they had a broken fuel pump on the Outlaw Super Late model, on that black and silver number 24. They took the fuel pump out of his modified, put it in the Super to qualify. Put the fuel pump out of the Super, put it back in the modified to run the 50-lap feature earlier tonight. then again took the fuel pump out of the modified, put it back in the Super so he can run this race.
Well, they got to have that fuel pump changed down to pretty much a science at this point.
Oh, absolutely. They may need a new fuel pump at the end of this night.
Well, Blake Childers in the 10 car, Matt, has caught the 14 of Steve Needles. And he's going to work right now. He's going to take a peek off of 2, but Needles not quite allowing him through yet.
And Kyle Crump's absolutely fine with this. Let them battle it out. Kyle Crump is led from the drop of the green flag. Steve Needles been second, trying to hold off. All-Star Performance fast qualifier, Blake Childers. Phil Bozell is 4th. Chad Finley 5th. Justin Clardy 6th. Adam Terry has recovered nicely. He's up to 7th. Stephen Allman 8th. Scott Hans 9th. Buddy Gray in 10th.
Well, Matt, it really felt like in the first part of this race that Steve Needles was just biding his time. I honestly thought he maybe had more than he was showing. But right since that restart here in the last 25 laps of this race, he's had his hands full of Blake Childers, and he's allowed the 16 of Kyle Crump to kind of drive off into the sunset.
Speaking of 25, we're 3/4 of the way through the Camp Owosso 100. Make it 76% through the Camp Owosso 100. 76 laps completed, 24 laps to go. Kyle Crump, your race leader. Steve Needles, Blake Childers in a dogfight for that second spot.
Childers looks very fast, just looking for somewhere to go. Lenny Roberts pulls off for, I think, the 3rd or 4th time in this one.
Picked up a couple positions in the meantime. As Crump continues to lead, he has got a 3/4 of a second lead over Steve Needles, who's got a back bumper full of Blake Childers, and the 2 white cars make their way down the backstretch battle for second.
Childers once again gets very close on entry into turn 3. Can't get underneath them on exit at turn 4.
Phil Bozell is 4th. Chad Finley is 5th. But the battle is for second. 2-time Reveal the Hammer Series champion Steve Needles trying to fight off All-Star Performance fast qualifier Blake Childers.
Once again gets to the back bumper and Needles. He's able to show him the nose down the back straightaway. He'll pull to the corner in turn 3, but Childers still not able to get that drive off the corner that he needs.
And again, Kyle Crump is just absolutely positively fine with how this is playing out. Needles and Childers continue to throw haymakers at each other. Crump says that is fine with me. 18 laps to go. Crump with a 0.8 second lead over the Needles-Childers battle.
And so far, Childers has had a chance to make one move on the 14, but hasn't been able to do it again. But he just got the nose to him coming off of turn 4 that last lap.
Steve Needles is so hard to pass. He knows how to pass, but now Childers sticks the nose in, but Needles fights him off on the high side. They're side by side in turns 1 and 2. And Childers can't complete the pass. Now
there
he does in the backstretch.
So Blake Childers now up to the 2nd spot, but he's lost a lot of ground on Crump and only has 15 laps to make it up. Almost an entire second between the,
And that's not what he wanted as Stephen Allman turns it around over in turn number 4. Brings out the 3rd caution flag of the evening. That Great Lakes Exotics Cannabis machine spins it around in turns 3 and 4. 15 laps to go, and Kyle Crump is going to have Blake Childers right next to him on this restart.
I feel like Kyle Crump is inventing some swear words right now.
Kyle Crump took the inside lane. This time he's got Blake Childers to his right elbow. On a turn number 4, green flags out. We're back on the way. Steve Needles is all kinds of sideways. On that restart, we'll talk straight to the front. Childers in groove number 2. Crump and Childers side by side into turns 3 and 4. Give the lead to Blake Childers on lap with 14 to go.
Crump doing his best to not give up the position, but unfortunately it may be out of his hands at this point. He gets to the back bumper of the 10 car, but Blake Childers takes the lead with 13 laps remaining.
Blake Childers from 16th, your All-Star Performance Fast Qualifier, has passed 15 cars to take the lead. Took the lead officially on lap 86. But Kyle Crump leading the first 85 laps of this event. Steve Needles in third, and Childers checking out of the number 10 car.
Yeah, he's gotten out in front already, almost racking up an 0.8 of a second advantage in just 3-4 laps at the front of the field, Matt.
Kyle Crump second, Steve Needles is third, Phil Bozell fourth, Chad Finley fifth. Adam Terry has fought his way back to the 6th spot in the number 4 car. And it's never too early to think about points with 10 laps to go, make it 9 laps to go. As you look, as they run, if they stay like this, Steve Needles takes the points lead by 2 over Adam Terry.
Wow.
The points lead has changed every race this season in the Reveal the Hammer Outlaw Super Late Model Series.
Well, Needles doesn't look to be very much on the attack. He had that kind of stutter step on the restart. He really hasn't been able to apply any forward momentum towards catching the 16 in front. He's not necessarily losing ground hand over fist to Bozell, but he is not closing the gap like he probably would have earlier in the race.
Adam Terry's all over Chad Finley. If Terry can get by Finley and they stay like that, Needles and Terry would be tied for the points lead going to New Paris.
Coming down to 5 laps to go now. It's Childers with a very healthy advantage. Over 2 seconds he's driven out to, Matt.
Blake Childers looking for career win number 3 in the Reveal the Hammer Outlaw Super Late Model Series. His previous 2 have come right here at his home track, where he's a 4-time track champion. Childers checking out 2.25 second lead over Kyle Crump, who's got a safe piece of real estate between himself and Steve Needles with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, the best battle on the track right now is the one between Adam Terry and Chad Finley for the 5th position. Terry's all over the 1 car. Oh, he makes contact with Finley coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, Terry may not know it, but he makes that pass, and they stay like they are. As we mentioned, as the white flag comes out, 1 to go for Childers. Terry has 1 more lap to try to get by Finley. But going into turn number 3 and on turn number 4, checkered flag in the air. 3rd career Hammer Series win for Blake Childers. Kyle Crump 2nd, Steve Needles 3rd. Chad Finley comes home in 5th as Phil Bozell was 4th.
Well, race fans, as if you are heading out of the stands at this point, want to let you know all hot food at our concession stand. Half off right now, half off all hot food at the concession stand. So get yourself something to eat on the way out, or just something to tide you over through Sport Compacts.
I guess that means I'm back.
But as they come down to victory lane, Gross Construction victory lane, the number 10 of Blake Childers will get a word with Matt Pereira.
He's wasting no time, climbing out of the car, your winner, Blake Childers! Blake, outstanding job, my friend. You drew the inversion of a 16. Your job, you chose to accept it, was to pass 15 cars to get to the front. You win the Camp Owosso 100. You win the Sweet Manufacturing Hard Charger Award. And oh, by the way, your 3rd career win. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought we was going to use the car all up coming from the back like that. We just needed a couple of cautions. The car was extremely fast. I had a really good car here, and yeah, it was on rails tonight. We had a really good car.
What was the strategy getting through the field like you did? It seemed to be from the booth There's a second groove here, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there's a second groove. You just got to go out there and you got to give her all she's got out there. We got caught behind some traffic, there at the beginning, and I kept moving backwards, and I thought we was in trouble. But yeah, the outside definitely works here, and if you go out there, it'll work for you.
Blake, again, a great job. Congratulations. Looking ahead, there's 3 races left to reveal the Hammer Outlaw Super Late Model Series points. You come into the weekend 4th in points. We'll do the official math. You should be on the podium in 3rd. New Paris coming up next, followed by the final 2 at Owosso. Is it time to start thinking about championship yet?
We're going to go for it. We're going to give her all she's got.
Tell us about all the sponsors. Everyone makes this happen for you.
I got to thank Rex and Sarah Wheeler. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have this awesome race car to drive. So this is all because of them and everybody at Wheeler Trucking that it makes this all possible. I got to thank Terry Seneker also. He helps me every week. He's got a family at home, and he could easily not come here, but he chooses to come here and help us. So I'm really thankful for him, Heather Seneker, and all my guys. If I didn't have all my crew guys, I would definitely be able to not make it here, So it takes the whole team, and it takes the big boss, and it takes everybody together to win these races, and I'm fortunate to have all these guys in my circle.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of the Camp Owosso 100, Blake Childers. The old saying goes, from the thrill of victory to the agony of defeat. We don't want to say that, but it almost fits. Kyle Crump, leader of the first 85 laps of this event, comes home in 2nd place tonight. Man, what an effort. What a great job. Tell us about the run.
Yeah, I was watching the scoreboard, and I saw Steve was in 2nd. Then at the end there, I saw Blake was in 2nd. I said, oh, no, Blake must be pretty dang good to get around Steve. So, I mean, I was just running for my life, but Blake had a rocket ship. He just rolled the top on me, and, I mean, he gapped me by a straightaway in about 10 laps.
You led 85 laps, and this has got to be a good momentum booster for the Bobby Blount Motorsports team. It's been an up and down season for you. You're still in the top 10 in points, obviously, but this has still got to feel good. A runner-up showing here at your home track.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good to finally finish one of these things. I mean, hell, every time I'm here, I feel like I break something and have to pull off. So, yeah, no, cool to finally get one. And, man, I thought I was pretty close to my first Outlaw win.
Tell us about the sponsors. Everyone makes it happen for you.
Yeah, I got to thank Bob Blount, Junior Hanley, and then Big Rigs, Duco, and Dennis over at AP Engines.
Kyle Crump, career high 2nd place finish to reveal the Hammer Series. 3rd place effort after winning the Kalamazoo Clash last weekend. Unofficially retakes the points lead in the reveal the Hammer Outlaw Super Late Model Series. Steve Needles in the number 14 machine. Steve, you look strong throughout the course of this event. But then here come that number 10.
Yeah, we just got a little tight there. I think got a little spooked earlier in the day, over-adjusted a little bit come race time, and just got a little tight. Car didn't want to be down on the rumble strips, and unfortunately that's where you got to be here. There is a little bit of an outside, but boy, if you're a little bit tight, you're in trouble out there. So, we'll take this one back. We'll make some notes. We'll get better for the next one. But, the goal at the beginning of the night was to get all 100 laps, and we got that done. So, 3rd place ain't bad.
Looking ahead, 3 races to go in the reveal the Hammer Outlaw Super Late Model Series Championship. The next event goes to a track. It's kind of an anomaly to some of the teams here in the Hammer Series, New Paris Speedway. What do you expect from that?
A mess, to be honest with you. It's always a mess. New Paris is always a mess, I've never run worth a darn at that place, so I'm really kind of dreading going. But, it's part of the series, and we're going to go, by God, because we're going to try to win this point deal. So we're looking forward to it. We look forward to every race because every race we get to go to is a blessing. But New Paris is New Paris, man. That's all I got to say.
Steve Needles, final podium position in 3rd place tonight. Phil Bozell comes home in 4th place here this evening. And Phil, congratulations, Phil. It was an adventurous race to say the least. Back and forth, but you end up in the top 5, a 4th place run. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we'll take that. The car just wasn't very balanced tonight. Wouldn't fire off on restarts. It took me 8 to 10 laps to get going, and on a long run, I'd actually start to come back to them a little bit. And the yellows were not my friend tonight, so sometimes that's how it goes. All 4 fenders are on it, all tires on it. Thanks for all you great fans for coming out and watching. That was an awesome race to be part of. Awesome one to watch, I'm sure. See you guys next time.
Phil Bozell comes home in 4th place tonight. Chad Finley rounds out the top 5, the number 1 machine. Winner of the 2nd annual Bob Finley Memorial 100 back on June the 19th. Not the finish you wanted tonight after winning last month, but a 5th place effort and then against this field, that's gotta feel pretty good.
Yeah. I don't like running 5th, so I just wasn't very good tonight. We struggled all day in practice, and we kind of made a swing, the same one that Steve made, and it hurt us both. So that's part of it. You know, there's a lot of good drivers here, a lot of talent. So obviously, you know, you're probably not going to win every race. So that's fine. So we'll work on it. We'll come back.
Next race here at Owosso Speedway is on August 24th. We're going to see you back here.
Oh, yeah, I'll be here.
Chad Finley comes home in 5th spot tonight here, the number 1 machine. On behalf of the Reveal the Hammer Outlaw Super Late Model Series, we thank you for coming to race number 5. Our next event, as Steve Needles alluded to, Friday, August 2nd at New Paris Speedway in New Paris, Indiana for the 23rd annual Summer Sizzler 100. Our next race here at Owosso Speedway. We wrap up the rest of the season after that. The final 2 events, both here at Owosso. The next one, the Ron Hauser Memorial on Saturday, August 24th, right back here at Owosso Speedway. On behalf of all of us, the Reveal the Hammer Series, for Rich Mercero, Donnie Kloss, Jeff Ochaska, Devon Smith, and Callie Baker, my name is Matt Preer. It is always such a privilege and an honor to come back home here to Owosso Speedway. We've got one more race left to go. We'll turn things over to the co-voices of Owosso Speedway, Chris Phobie and Roger Williams. They'll take you home. Good night, everybody.